What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 368 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo.
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
This week, we're geeking out about the Game Awards and live actions we didn't ask for. Are we geeking out about them? We'll have to see. Before we do that, though, I'm going to geek out about my last week. I was not here. You may have noticed. Hopefully you missed me. Instead, I was driving out to Austin, Texas. Actually, an hour east of Austin, Texas. It wasn't technically Austin.
Oh, gotcha.
It's called Marble Falls. Beautiful, beautiful tiny town. And really good pho. Food in Texas is just a whole nother thing of food. Like, I came back and I love going out to eat. He was like, my wife was like, where do you want to go out to eat? And I was like, I don't know anymore.
And the good stuff. Now I gotta go.
I want to go to Opie's Barbecue in Austin, Texas. But no, I went to this thing called the Nerd Culture Ministry Summit. It was put on by a few different people, but some big names were Love Thy Nerd, which I'm sure many of our listeners have heard about, and then Lux Digital Church, which if you haven't heard about them, definitely go check them out. They are an online-only church on Twitch. And from what I saw this last week, they are definitely doing it right. It was really, really powerful. We've posted a few videos on our Instagram about it, but my biggest takeaways were Lux Digital Church has a vision to start church planting. So they really want more churches like theirs. They're very much like want to share that information on how to do that and the validity of it. Things like that. So I mentioned in one of the videos that I really see, like, in the next couple years, maybe 3 years, and a lot more of those churches coming to fruition, which is exciting. The more the merrier. I think that's really, really cool.
I met
different
someone,
churches have different focuses.
Yeah, I was gonna say I met someone some years ago. I don't know if it's still running, but I met someone who was running a church on Roblox.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
And he was just running it. I don't know if there were any of like ordained pastors or anything like that, but they would like meet on Sundays and they'd meet in Roblox and they would attend church.
That's cool. Well, you can check out the sermon from Pastor Mark from that last Wednesday at the actual event online. I think on Nerd Culture Ministry Summit's YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. He did amazing. I mean, it was really, really good. The big question, I'm going to talk about this for a minute. So, the big question that he asks, or that he gets pushed back about is a church like that online only? Is that valid? And one of the best stories that he brought to the table was a username by the name of Future Queen of Hell. And Future Queen of Hell
it's kind of
went
a
into
dope
his
username. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. Like, I get the intent, but besides the intent, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Yep.
Yeah. Well, she came into his church service on Twitch, and she was there to troll. She was there to try to just cause friction. And
We've
ask
had some of those.
And so they showed her grace. And she kept coming back, and she was like, "Yeah, not really that too bad to hang out with." And after a few months, she got saved. Changed her username to Alice in the Palace.
That's cool.
Also a very cool username.
Yeah,
that's even cool. That's even cooler, I think. That's
I like the round.
Alice in the Palace.
I love it. That's a level up.
And then she actually now works for the church, if I'm not mistaken.
That's really cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love that.
And all of that was done online. And his argument was she would have never, or probably her argument, I'm sure she said it, she would have never walked into a church building when she was the future queen of Satan, or queen of hell.
Yeah.
She, the big focus that they kept repeating was the lady at the well in Samaria. Who said, "We're not preaching in the temples. We're preaching at the well, where the people are gathering." And so that was really, really cool. I got to meet Magnus, who runs a small... I'm stealing his joke, but it's so funny. Small little indie company called Riot Games.
Oh.
He's the creative director of a game called League of Legends. Probably never heard of it.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, it was really cool. He said that first, but I've been telling everyone.
I love it.
Just like
I mean, it's a good one. It's a good one.
One of the biggest esports games in the world. The biggest, I would say.
I cannot wait for Project L. Oh my gosh.
The reason he was there was to kind of spread this. He's making a community. I can't remember the actual word. It's the Elvish word for Rivendell. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's a community that he is working on, and it's basically a networking of video game developers who are Christians.
I absolutely love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
What was his name again?
Come to find out. Huh?
What was his name?
Magnus is what he goes by. Yeah. And that's kind of his username. He's Alex Magnus something, or Alexis Magnus something. Can't remember his last name. He's very German. But creative director.
Yeah.
But he was really cool. I'm trying to think. Oh, he mentioned Epic Games. I would have never known this. The CEO of Epic Games is a Christian. I would have never known that.
That's kind of cool.
Realize. Epic.
Oh, yeah. The world is... That world is bigger than it seems, I think. We're like, oh, he thought he would have a really hard time finding people, and he's coming to find like, more and more people are believers. Like, he just didn't... Yeah.
Yeah, people just don't talk about it. I mean, even within the small Smash community over here, like in the PNW, there's actually a lot of Christians. People just don't talk about it because, and not necessarily for no reason, right? I mean, there's a lot of, especially over here in this area of the country, there's a lot of church hurt. There's a lot of folks who have been just hurt by the church in the past, or been hurt by Christians, etc., etc. But it's as simple as putting in my Twitter that I love Jesus, and all of a sudden I get people coming to me saying like, "You Christian? I'm one too." And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, they know who to go to, right? Like, it's sometimes you really kind of just like have to put yourself out there, and then they come crawling out of the woodwork. You know what I mean? That's been my experience, and I think that totally makes sense that in that space as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, the biggest takeaways that were more practical for me, and there's so much more I could talk about on. Let's see, I had stories for days, but I think the big focus for Geeks Under Grace, we kind of went in there with a bit of an identity crisis. We are not what they were talking about at the conference. Our stuff, Love Thy Nerd, they went and told me that they're kind of in the same space too with that.
That's true.
They're trying to figure out
we're kind of
who
niche.
they are.
They're kind of niche too.
Very much so.
Yes.
You have lots of Twitch streamers.
I was talking to a friend about that the other day. Like, like how, we focus a lot on our writing content. Like, we have the other things, but like that's where a majority of our content is at, like, so we're different in that way.
Yeah, we're definitely not a church by any means.
Yes.
And Love Thy Nerd isn't either. And so both of us, I think our roles in a lot of ways, Love Thy Nerd also is doing their evangelical thing, and they want to keep pushing that. I don't think they had any question whether or not they would continue that, but for them, Love Thy Nerd is like, let's equip people to be able to do so, and so that comes with helping these churches as well. I haven't even talked to my board of directors on this yet. We're meeting Thursday, so you guys are getting some of the stuff before even they do. But the big takeaways that I got were with the identity crisis thing was hopefully we can be a resource for those churches in some way, that it's something they can point to.
That's something we've always wanted.
Yeah. And then I think the other part of that is finding our weak spots. Like, we're not a church, and making sure that there's a way for people to see our website and get to the connections that they need. We talked to SafePoint a lot. SafePoint, another amazing ministry. Literally, you can contact SafePoint, and this is, you all, the listeners should know this too. If you don't have a church that's like nerd friendly right now, nerd affirming, that was the word he used. Get in contact with SafePoint, and SafePoint will find you a church that is near you, and they will find someone that is nerdy in that church to like come greet you, so that you're not alone.
I love that.
It's crazy.
I've definitely watched some of their streams before in the past. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. So that's kind of that's the next steps for me, is working on how to do that. How do we communicate that? And make sure that those two things happen. But yeah, we can move on from it. You can watch everything at the Nerd Culture Ministry Summit YouTube channel. I think they have all of the keynotes on there.
That's
I know
awesome.
for a little bit you can see the back of my head. And a lot of them.
Yeah, I was looking because it's like I followed them on Twitter, right? And every once in a while I was just like scrolling, and I would all the pictures.
Cody's
I'm
head.
Where there's Cody, there's his hairdo. Right? He was always really easy to see. I'm like, oh, there's Colby because he's right there.
Yes. We were sitting like right in the middle the whole time. I didn't really think about the camera being right there.
That's funny.
But yeah, really, really good. There's so many organizations. I would say, actually, I made an Instagram post, and it's just pictures of me and Colby with like 10 different people. And I think it's 9 people, different people. You can go there, and I tagged each one of them, so you can go and check out their stuff.
There's definitely some...
Susie!
Good.
Forgot about Susie! Yeah. That's one more. I gotta move on. One more thing.
Yeah.
Got to meet Susie, Susie. Susie live now.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect this from him, but we never contacted Susie. We'd done it once, I think, and he was really busy, and so we never collabed in any way.
I think Joe was working on that at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 9 years for both of us. It's 8 for him, 9 for Geeks Under Grace.
Oh.
And I had talked to Colby about it. Colby Bryant, I keep saying his name. Colby Bryant, our treasurer on the board. And I said, we never contacted him. We were always nose in the ground, focused on ourselves. And I was like, over the last 5 years, we've looked up and realized there's a bunch of them now. And we haven't connected any of them, and we need to get to work. Susie, I come up to him, and I'm like, hey, sorry we never got in touch before. And he literally said the same thing. He was like, I just had my nose in the ground. I was always so focused on what I was doing. I never looked up. Mm-hmm. And so very much in the same boat as us.
I feel that, yeah. Like, I just, having been in the board myself, like, we talked about all those things. That's amazing. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience. Okay, now we can move on. But that was really cool to see him and his wife. And like I said, we've been doing ministry side by side for years, but never interacting. So
sweet.
Yeah, we can get into the games that we've been playing. I obviously didn't play a lot of video games while I was gone.
Well, you're doing some important things, so...
Yes. I think I'm accidentally beating Horizon. That might be a thing that's happening.
Cool. Love that.
I didn't mean to.
I've definitely done that in the past. I think it was like with Shadow of Mordor or something. I went back and played it one time, and I was like, oh, I've been at the end of the game this whole time, and I had no idea.
I was waiting for a video to export from this summit, and I was like, I'm going to turn on my game for a minute just to like have a little bit of fun. And I got it. It was literally an hour long of like cutscenes and gameplay where you're doing like dialogue stuff. I was like, I can't leave.
Did you hit that screen where it's like, oh, if you turn back, and if you can't turn back now?
Not yet. So I'm not that close, but I'm sure it's coming.
I love those moments when a game tells me, it's like, hey, do what you need to do, because this is it.
I know. I need games to do that.
I love that.
All the time.
It gets me excited, and then I spend the next 2 or 3 hours up late at night until I beat it.
LJ, I know Shelley hasn't played Witcher 3 all the way through. Have you played Witcher all 3 of them?
Nope, I have not. That game is so big.
Soft spoiler, but it's so funny. Mm-hmm. You get that prompt like 3 times.
Oh, that's terrible.
Really?
And just keep... Yeah. But like, you sure you want to keep going?
Is it valid? Is it like are they spread out enough in such a way where it's like, oh, there's things you can only do within that time frame, so it makes sense for them to do that? Or is it like you're trying to progress
there
this one
may
thing?
have been.
Or area-based things. Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, hey, you're going to
I think it was more area-based.
You're going to move on to a new area, so...
And you couldn't come back immediately.
Right.
But as soon as you got done with that area, you could go back. Yeah. And so it was like...
I'm thinking like Baldur's Gate 3, which we actually finally progressed to Act 3 like today. And it does that too, where it'll say, hey, you can't go back. Although, actually somewhat similarly, there has been a time where, I think back in Act 1, we thought we were accidentally about to go to Act 2 or like progress too far. Because it was saying like, hey, like, there's something happening here. And we're like, oh shoot. And then later my friends were like, oh no, you can go there and come back. And I'm like, wait, what? Why would they...
That's funny.
Do that? So they have both. They have like the not super legitimate ones, and the legitimate ones. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know the third one for Witcher, I was like, do I really care at this point? And then I'm glad I did, because it ended up being the
nice
thing. But that's all I've been playing. LJ, tell me about Star Ocean. I didn't realize they were doing a remake.
Yeah, they did.
Well, yeah, so they did a remake of I believe it was the PlayStation Star Ocean. It's called Star Ocean Second Story R. I mentioned a little bit about this last week because I randomly, like, my brother had been talking it up and Joe had been talking it up, and I'm like, and my brother especially, like, because I have a love-hate relationship with JRPGs. I do love how most of them are finding ways to be very accessible, which we also talked about last week. And this has definitely done that. I'm 6 hours and 30 minutes into this game. I'm enjoying it a lot. So
it actually looks really good.
Yes. So what they've done is they haven't really done the Octopath thing where it's like a pop up, kind of book thing. The environments are almost like fully 3D. And so
this is what I want Chrono Trigger to be.
The Chrono Trigger would be perfect in this style. A lot of people would have said that about the Chrono Trigger and Octopath style, but I feel like this lends itself.
This would be better.
Yes, I think this style.
I'm gonna be happy with both, but this.
It's like these games have always kind of been a mix of sci-fi and fantasy. This one in particular, your main character gets isekai'd into a fantasy world. It's not like a video game themed fantasy world or anything. Obviously there's supposed to be, those questions are supposed to be answered. How do you get there, kind of a thing. I enjoy it a lot. It's super cool. It's actually a fun game to play. Like, a game that can be make or break for me is how fun it is to grind. And yes. I have no problem grinding in this game. And then also, it's really easy. You can fast travel to any important location you want. And a lot of the bigger dungeons have at least had two save points. And so if I want to be like, okay, let me go grind a little bit, let me go fight. Oh, I need to go rest at an inn, or I need to go buy some items. Let me just go fast travel over there and come back. And it's super fun. I like the characters so far. I only have 3 party members. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I got real hooked on it. So I played a lot this weekend, especially because I've been spending time getting the dog and the cat to kind of finally get comfortable with each other. So I've had the cat out in the living room and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to spend time in here this weekend. And also it helps that my TV, the cat also, I think she did a jump off my TV or something, and now my TV's broke, so I gotta play games off of my computer now, on my computer monitor. Yeah. But it worked out because I'm like, I'm gonna play my Switch. Not that I couldn't plug in my Xbox or something into the living room, but I was like, I'm gonna chill, play my Switch. This is perfect. And so I enjoyed it quite a lot. I'm still playing through it. It's one of those games I feel like I can definitely play in bite-sized chunks, because I'll be like, okay, let me get through this story point, or let me do this part of a dungeon or something, and or let me grind a little bit, and I can easily save. The save points are fairly generous. Ooh, my favorite thing is, I don't know if I mentioned this last week. If you lose a battle, you don't get kicked to the main menu automatically. If you know you got the resources, you can be like, oh, let me retry the battle because I think I messed up here, or I messed up on this. Let me change my strategy. So you can literally just be like, oh, I want to retry that fight. Or let's say you have some level ups, or you have some things you want to switch. It'll actually take you to your menu. Usually how a lot of JRPGs have your big menu with everything you can upgrade and equip stuff. Let's say you're I forgot to put points into my characters. I forgot I did level up a few times. So you can actually go and do your level
Chain
ups.
does that a bit.
Yeah, so I really love the accessibility in this game. It's super fun. So yeah, it's gotten some really good reviews, and it was just kind of I actually randomly got this game because I went to GameStop, just did some trade-ins of stuff I wasn't playing, and so I got this and I got the Metal Gear Solid collection both on Switch. And I thought Metal Gear was the one I'd be playing a lot more, and it turns out I've barely touched Metal Gear. This is what I've been playing on my Switch, so I like it a lot. And I think they might have. I think this game started on Super Nintendo. They might have remade it for PlayStation, but they have little animated cutscenes from that older version you can go and watch too, in the extras menu. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. I recommend it if if anybody is looking for a new JRPG game to play, I think it's only $50, so it's not even full price.
Oh, sweet.
So
And
I
it might
think
go
that's
on sale.
it's yes, and it's knowing Square Enix, it will probably go on sale at some point, maybe Black Friday or maybe when they do like the Golden Week sale in the spring or whatever. Like I bet you it'll be on sale. Yeah, no, it's really good. So I do recommend it.
Okay.
The other game, I was definitely fully against buying this for a while, but I did grab Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Just because I'm like, oh, this is so dumb. Like, they really should have just made it like a $40, $50 expansion, which I still agree with this. But it was a long day on Friday, and I was like, I just want to like chill, play some games.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to play some Call of Duty. I'm going to give in. I'm going to be a sucker. I do admire that they found a way to actually keep my progress from the previous game and keep my bundles that... I didn't spend like a lot of money on Modern Warfare 2 at all, but if you spent money on that game or you earned a bunch of stuff through the battle passes and everything, or season passes, it's all there. And all your weapon unlocks and all your customized weapons are still there. So I was like, oh, like that made it actually a bit more justifiable to me, even though I'm like, I'm still not going to touch the campaign. I haven't even tried zombies yet, but I was like, you know what? I just want to go play multiplayer and just mess around and play some music and do what I do. And so I realized like, oh, I got my gold knife back. And so I was like, awesome. Cause I like going melee, you know, for whatever reason, like I just feel like I make people mad all the time. Like if I'm just running around with my knife. But I've been posting these gameplay clips. I call it my gold stabby boy, and I was like, I got my gold stabby boy back, and I'm already halfway to turning that thing into a platinum knife too. So it's like they added Doom style weapons that I got. I actually paid money for that because I was like, it's Doom. I'm a Doom stan. There's a super shotgun and a chainsaw that have like a 2D like animated look to them, and they also animate like straight out of like the old Doom and stuff like that. So everybody's trying to do the meta and use the same guns or use whatever's OP, and I'm this doofus running around with a super shotgun and a chainsaw, not caring at all. So it's just I've been having fun with it. It's definitely one of those games that like I know I'm probably only gonna play for a few months, but right now I'm having fun. So I guess that's what matters. It still feels like Call of Duty. I don't really plan on trying much else, but I still hate that I spent the money on it because I'm like, I'm stupid, because that's not thinking with my wallet. That's me giving money to a game or a decision that I know is not dumb. I mean, it's not. Agree with. Yeah, so I feel like an idiot because I still spent the money, but there's a lot of people like that who'd be like, oh, I'm not going to get the new Call of Duty. I'm not going to get the new Madden or whatever, and they still do, and I'm one of those people this week.
Capitalism.
Yes, and so I am having fun. I really do wish they would have just made it DLC. Maybe charge $40, you get new multiplayer maps and new whatever, and then you get a campaign. I think they could have easily done that, because now you can launch Modern Warfare 3 in the same launcher you can launch Modern Warfare 2 from and all that, and Warzone. So I'm like, okay, y'all are halfway there. Like, you just need to not be greedy. So that's it. That's what I've been playing. Oh, and then I have been playing a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima because of Blue-Eyed Samurai, which I'll talk more about that show, Blue-Eyed Samurai, later.
Yeah.
It's good. Cool.
What about you, Shelley?
Well, I already mentioned playing some Baldur's Gate 3, so we finally are past Act 2. Definitely the smallest act. Well, I've heard Act 3 is the biggest, so that's probably why. But we didn't have much cleanup to do in Act 2, / there was some quests we were kind of locked out of, which is fine. Still a good game. Still kind of broken, though. It's really unfortunate. I just seen so many people, especially... We're going to be talking about the Game Awards, actually. And it is nominated for a Game Award. Spoiler! So, it's nominated for Game of the Year, which I think is still definitely deserved. But I've seen so many people praising this game for how well it is, essentially... How good it is, essentially, out of box. And the fact that they're still, like, patching it, even though it's supposed to be this, like, seamless, perfect game. It's just kind of frustrating knowing that those are just people talking on PC. Like, those are just people talking, even if they're doing multiplayer on PC. Like, they're not talking about the PS5 experience. Because the PS5 experience, at least co-op, especially co-op, I guess is what I should say. But I was even playing single player a little bit with their co-op save. And there's still, like, slowdowns and frame issues, which is, like, fairly negligible. But even today, we had, like, this cutscene that just faded to black, and there was just music playing in the background, and it just was there for like a minute straight, and we're like, this is definitely not just supposed to be happening. There's supposed to be something on screen, or it's supposed to be transitioning to something else. Thankfully, we got out of it, but it's just unfortunate that some things still it just get kind of weird, but it's still a really, really, really good game overall, and we're finally getting into the meat of a lot of stuff. If you have played Baldur's Gate 3, that's transitioned into Act 3, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a lot of good stuff there, so excited to play more of it. It's just crazy how we're 80 hours in, and we're gonna have to spend at least another 20 hours to beat the game, I'm sure. Like, at least, just to like get everything. What is going to be fun is I'm looking forward to doing everybody's, like, all the companions sort of wrapping up their quests. Like, now that we're kind of at the last section of the game, we can finally wrap those up, which is really what I'm looking forward to, besides just the main plot as well. But I love investing in my companions. Big Dragon Age energy, right? Being able to sort of finish up and help out your companions and whatever they need done. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, still a really good game. Still not perfect though. I don't know. Every time I've talked to people, and they've told me too. They'll say like, "Oh, well, I was under the impression that it was really clean and like no bugs or anything on any of the systems." And I'm like, "Well, then you're just wrong." I have video footage, and again, patches make it help. Are way helpful. Like, there's a lot of bugs I don't experience anymore at all because of these patches. And so, like, thank goodness. It's just, I think I get a little bit miffed. I get a little bit like, every time someone says like, well, it's just because it's such a perfect, seamless experience. It's because they did so much work to make sure it's perfect out of the box. I'm like, yes, they did for the single player experience, which is awesome. And obviously they took extra time to try to make sure local co-op worked. And I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I guess, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where
the multiplayer is the reason why the Xbox version hasn't come out yet, because I guess they're struggling with the multiplayer for Series S.
Which, thank goodness, again, that they're actually taking the time to try to figure that out before releasing it. Again, that's what I respect. I also respect that they're working on optimization. It is a huge game. They kind of have to. A lot of game devs just don't care, or at least a lot of big game devs don't care, I guess is what I should specify. But anyway.
Right.
Baldur's Gate 3, still very good. I've also restarted my Persona 3 Portable run. So originally I started back kind of soon, maybe a month or two after it came out. Came out, I guess is what I should specify, this year on Steam. And I played it, and it was fine. It was kind of hard to get into for some reason. I don't know if it was just because, I mean, I knew it's an older game. Now it's an older game, so there's some things that are like clunky or whatever. And also just the fact that it is the portable version. Definitely less engaging, and that's just, everyone says that, right? Because you can't just like control your character around these spaces like you can in like 4 or 5, for example. It's more like a visual novel, right? You kind of like tap things, you have areas you go to. And I think it was taking me a while to get used to that and get used to kind of how combat works again, things like that. And then I just stopped playing, and I don't remember what stopped me from playing. It honestly could have been like Tears of the Kingdom or something, but I never really went back. And then they announced Persona 3 Reload. And I thought, dang it, I wish I could just finish this Persona 3. Like, I was mad because I had just got Persona 3 Portable, and all of a sudden they're doing an actual remake, and I was kind of miffed. But then I came to a conclusion where I just need to restart the game and play as Femsy. So if you don't know, Persona 3 Portable is unique in such a way that you can play as a male or female protagonist. And I was originally playing male because everyone told me, like, oh, that's the original way, and, like, Femsy's really good on a replay, but you should just do male for the first thing and go. No, screw that. Female, so much better. And yes, I'm totally biased because I'm a woman, but it's actually crazy how much better it is. Because, just very simple things, too. One, is that you get better social links. So, with the male route, you can't get a social link with actually several of your companions. Like Junpei, he's like supposed to be kind of like your best friend. You don't even get a social link with him in Persona 3
That's weird.
Portable. You don't get one with Akihiko either, who's also like a companion that you basically start with him. Like he doesn't join your party like in game until later, but he's around the whole time. Which is frustrating. And they replaced it with, honestly, social links that I didn't like very much. Like, there's a kid who just is trying to go after a teacher. And like, no, I didn't finish that social link. He probably outgrows it. Or he probably gets better, and it's probably fine. But at the beginning, I was just cringing a lot. I'm like, I don't want to hang out with you, Kenji. Sorry, you suck. Those who know, I think. But I don't know. I just think it reveals the potential of a lot of games. I think I'm really grateful that there are so many games, especially RPGs, that give you the option to choose your gender. I think that's amazing. I think they should keep doing that. But it doesn't usually affect the game at all. Usually it's very, very subtle. Or in the cases such as Dragon Age, for example, I already talked about Dragon Age, but like Dragon Age, it can kind of change the romance options, right? Mm-hmm. Usually it doesn't change anything. Like Baldur's Gate doesn't change anything. In something like Dragon Age, you get slightly different romance options. In this game... Yeah, what's up?
I was going to say, Star Ocean does that. You can... It's actually the two main characters. Mm-hmm. I think it just has a different starting point. I don't know how much it affects it, but you can definitely choose that if you don't feel like choosing the main guy, Claude. You can be Reyna, I think her name is. She's the second character, so...
But I think what's so cool about this game, and it's not, Persona 3 Portable came out a long time ago, but I feel like it was almost ahead of its time in the sense where it actually changes things. Like, you get different social links, you have different dialogue, people actually acknowledge you that you're a woman, right? And they, will say things that, granted, some things are sexist, right? But it's almost, it feels way more, realistic, especially for that time in Japan. It seems way more realistic. There's there's actually, I won't say who to kind of shield some spoilers, if anyone's interested, but there's a social link that you get where partway through it's sort of revealed that they reveal to you that there's actually been some pictures taken of you at school, and that's kind of weird and creepy because is it a peeping Tom situation? You're fully clothed, but that's kind of weird, right? And so that it kind of continues with that. I'm just man, that's what a woman's experience, right? That would never happen in the male route. And I feel and again, I know I'm just popping off because I'm a woman, so helps me sort of relate better. And of course, maybe the simple fact of that just makes it better, in my opinion. But I just think that it's really, really awesome that so many RPGs let you choose, and that there's either no difference or negligible difference. And by negligible, I just mean romance options can be somewhat different. Same with Fire Emblem, right? There's a lot of Fire Emblem games like Fire Emblem Awakening, for example, where you could be a boy or girl Robin, and it kind of just changes your romance options, and that's about it. But I think it's actually really cool that being a gender actually affects the story, and affects the dialogue, it affects how people interact with you, affects how you interact with others, and I think that's really cool. Even if part of it is just because of sexism, maybe that's stupid, I don't know, but I think it's actually just helping me enjoy the game a lot more. And it seems so simple and so dumb, but I'm getting way more into it. And part of it too was that I basically sped run until I got to the point where I was before with my first run, and now I'm finally past that point, thank goodness. But I was speed running, and I was just not even thinking about it. I'm just I'm just gonna go, and so that helped me really get into the story and get into where I'm at. So I'm hoping to beat this before Reload comes out, and at this point I think I might just finish it. Even if it's if Reload comes out before I'm done, I just won't get the game until I'm done, because I want to be totally done. But then it's going to be cool, because then it'll be playing the same game but slightly different, Yeah. So it'll be, because that's what I didn't want to necessarily replay the whole game one more time after I just played it, but it's going to be such a different experience because you actually have the roaming around the space. You are the male protagonist. You have different social options. You have different romance options. And so a lot of the story beats obviously are going to be the same, but the combat's going to be maybe slightly different, and the UI is going to be way different, and the music's going to be different. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to, is this experience, and then I'll just play Reload. It is still frustrating to have essentially the game. I can't speak. It's a little frustrating that they released this game only for just around a year later to release a full reboot.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but I'm trying to make the best of it. So yeah. That's that.
Cool. Sweet. We'll get into the gaming news then. LJ.
Yes.
Book's mostly on the Game Awards, right?
Yes. So I want to go over some of the nominee stuff. I figure the biggest one is Game of the Year. because there's probably some that are very debatable in here. And then I'll probably skim through the other ones, and if there's any that stick out to you guys, then we can talk about some more of that. So, for our nominees for Game of the Year. So Game Awards is coming, I think, December 7th, and we are probably going to do... We've done it every year for the last few years, but we're definitely going to do like a watch-along live stream.
Yes,
Anna runs it every time. It is a fun, chaotic time. So yeah,
that is a Thursday per usual.
Yes, it's a Thursday. So definitely come. That'll be on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. So I want to go straight out the gate here. The Game of the Year nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
As much as I love this game, I don't really think it should be here. But Spider-Man 2 is there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did enjoy Spider-Man 2, just not as much as the first two. Resident Evil 4, the remake is here. I didn't finish that game. I know I definitely played it, so I can't really say. And I can't say about Alan Wake 2 also. Like, that game literally just came out. And so I'm like, I didn't know that many people liked that game. I know Game of the Year, or the Game Awards definitely are, the nominees are chosen by a committee and all that stuff too. Like a committee of gaming journalists. And then So the last two you have is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I actually really enjoy that game because I have been playing it off and on. So I do think this is an interesting take to have this here because it is a refreshing take on Mario we haven't had in a long time. And then I think we all expected this one to be here. At least I expected Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom. So Tears of the Kingdom is definitely on this list. I think
Final Fantasy 16.
I am a little bit sad. So honestly, here's what I would do. I would switch out Spider-Man 2 for Jedi Survivor, and probably either Resident Evil 4 or actually probably Alan Wake 2. Even though I've never played both, but I would fit Final Fantasy 16 in one of those slots. Is what I would have done. So it's an interesting. Yeah, I think that a large that list. I think at least I haven't looked online because I've been at work all day. But at least in our gaming chat, I think a lot of us were caught off guard by the list. So yeah, that's Game of the Year stuff. So we got Best Game Direction, and I think most of these are all these were literally in Game of the Year. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man, Mario Wonder, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. Then we have Best Narrative, and it's literally most of those. Final Fantasy 16 and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty are on this list.
Oh. I was going to say, it's as great as it is that Wonder is in the running for Game of the Year. I think that's awesome.
There's definitely other games that probably could have been there.
Yeah, it's rough because you really do want that balance, right? You want that balance of different gameplays.
I would have loved an indie to show up there, or even Lies of P, because a lot of people have really loved Lies of P this year. That would have been
good games this year.
Yes, and I mean, there's been a lot of bad ones too. So then you got Best Narrative. I've not played two of those. So then we have Best Art Direction, which Lies of P got a mention here. Hi-Fi Rush is in here for Best Art Direction. I feel like Hi-Fi Rush deserves this game. Hi-Fi Rush is like a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
Super good game. Mario is in here. Tears of the Kingdom is in here. Alan Wake is in here. And Lies of P is in here. And then, I feel like Hi-Fi Rush should get that one. Best Score in Music, we got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Tears of the Kingdom. That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say Baldur's Gate kind of stands out to me a little bit because that had I think it's got actual vocals in some of their tracks, which was really cool.
Yeah, they do.
Let's see. And Hi-Fi Rush, that game is all about music, but I can't say that the music or any score or any part of the soundtrack has stood out to me.
I wish, and I don't know what's going to happen, if it'll happen. I really need Final Fantasy 16's original soundtrack on Spotify. They have 5 songs.
Actually,
on there.
yes.
I need the rest.
I hope that Final Fantasy gets best soundtrack. I really would. That would be awesome.
So good. There was only one time I think where the music choice was questionable, but it wasn't bad. There was like one fight where I was like, okay, this feels like a little DMC, but it fit.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what, this is kind of weird, but I love it.
Yeah. So then for audio design, we have Alan Wake 2. We have Dead Space, which Dead Space works. That's definitely a horror game that's based on, a lot of the horror games use audio a lot. Hi-Fi Rush is on here, which I feel like if best audio design, Hi-Fi Rush should definitely win this one, just because nice. A lot of what you do is based on timing and audio and rhythm, even though you don't necessarily it doesn't punish you for it. Then we have Spider-Man, and then Resident Evil 4. Let's see here. I skipped it on accident. So best performance, we have Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16, which is, I believe he voiced
he voiced Clive.
Clive, yes.
He's a protagonist.
I think the guy who voiced Sid should be in here. I don't know. I like Sid much. Clive definitely grows as a character, and it is a good performance. But I would rather have the voice actor who does Sid, and that dude's done a bunch of voices this year too. And I like Sid. I like Sid as a character a lot more.
I feel like all the voices in Final Fantasy 16 are really good. Also, playing Baldur's Gate 3, all the voice actors in Baldur's Gate 3 are really freaking good. Like Astarion's voice actor is nuts. He carries that character. In my opinion, I think all of them are really good. I think all the voice actors are really good, but I think Astarion's voice actor in particular.
So I need to know. They don't show the actually roles they play on this list, which I think they should. So Neil Newbin.
Yes, that's him. That's
him. Nice.
Yes.
Then you have Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm like, okay. It's a really good game. Then you have Idris Elba for his character in Cyberpunk. You have Melanie LeBird, who plays in Alan Wake 2. I think she plays the new character whose name is Saga, which is kind of a dope name for Alan Wake 2. Mm-hmm. And then you have Yuri Lowenthal, who also plays he's in Spider-Man 2. There's a few of those where I'm not surprised. I guess they're in there. Let's see. Let's move on a little bit. Indie games, we got Games for Impact. There's not really a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, there never usually is. Best ongoing, we have Apex, Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I'm surprised Cyberpunk is in there for ongoing, only because it's had updates. I wouldn't consider it an ongoing game. But, okay. Let's see, best community support, we have Baldur's Gate, Cyberpunk, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XIV, and No Man's Sky. I love that No Man's Sky has been on that list for so long.
Yeah, wow.
Here we go. Here's some of the other categories I really wanted to kind of get through. We have for best indie game, or best independent game, we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, which I have played Dredge. Dredge is really cool. We have Sea of Stars, which is really...
Oh, Sea of Stars.
That's another RPG I think you should probably look into.
It's on my list. Sea of Stars is on my list. It's probably going to be next year. Or maybe for Christmas or something.
I tried the demo and it didn't click with me. But I hear Dave the Diver is really good. There's a lot of people that love that game. And I hear Cocoon is pretty decent too. But out of those, I definitely like Dredge the most. Dredge is a good game.
I've heard Dave the Diver's really... All my coworkers play Dave the Diver, and they talk about Dave the Diver around me at work, and they're like,
"That's funny.
Shelley, you need to get Dave the Diver." And I'm like, well, maybe I got so many other games I'm playing right now, but eventually,
yeah. For debut indie, according to Barra, I think I think Cocoon isn't technically a debut, but we have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, which and then a game called Venba, and then Viewfinder again for best indie. Let's see, best mobile game. We can probably skip that one. AR VR, we're gonna skip that. Action game, you have Armored Core, Dead Island 2, which I think that's weird. That's there. Ghost Runner 2, I've not played that. Hi-Fi Rush is really good, and then we have Remnant 2. Out of those, I've played Armored Core, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. I really liked Armored Core. I would love to see Armored Core get it, or Remnant 2. Remnant 2 is really good, but Hi-Fi Rush is also really good. Let's see. Action adventure. You have basically most of the Game of the Year categories. Again, you have Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom for action adventure. I would like to see Jedi Survivor get that one. RPG. Here's a category a lot of people love. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, which is good. I'm glad that's in there. Sea of Stars in there. And here's a game we have had no mention of yet. Starfield is in Best RPG.
Okay.
We have had no mention of Starfield in this whole thing until now. I am surprised. I am surprised. Like, that's so crazy. Then Best Fighting Game, which is a personal favorite category of mine. You have God of Rock, which is a rhythm game. You have Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which I actually hear All-Star Brawl 2 is pretty good, apparently. You have Pocket Bravery, and you have Street Fighter 6. I have a feeling this is going to come down to Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 6, because the rest are indies. They're all pretty solid. I would be upset if Mortal Kombat 1 takes this award over Street Fighter 6. I'd be mad. Because Mortal Kombat 1 actually isn't that good of a game. In my opinion, anyway. And then family game, we have Disney Illusion Island, which I played, Party Animals, which I played, and it's great, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Mario Wonder. I think we all know Mario Wonder is going to win that, even though I would love Party Animals to win. Sim Strategy, Advance War, City Skylines, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, there's a Fire Emblem mentioned right there, and then Pikmin 4. And then sports and racing, nobody really cares about that. Not in our world.
There's just so many good games this year. Like,
yes.
The fact that I forgot that Pikmin 4 was even out this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people's game of the year. People were so hyped for it, and it delivered. And it's still not like game of the year. It's just nominated for some other games. Like, it's crazy.
Here, I think you're going to get a little triggered on this one, Shelley. For best multiplayer game, one of the first options they have is Baldur's Gate 3.
It's perfect. Here's the thing.
It's perfect when you play it online.
Great on PC. The fact that you can have a full party I want that so bad.
We did that on PlayStation, and it was fine. Like, it was great.
Yeah, but what I need is, because I don't really have any other friends I have like one, maybe two other friends who have PS5, but we don't all, like, I canceled my PlayStation Plus subscription because subscription because it was just getting too expensive. But if they announce crossplay, which in my research is something they're working on, if they allowed crossplay, so if I on my PS5 could play with PC players and maybe one other PS5 player, I'll get that subscription back.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So, like, the multiplayer is pretty great. There's things that could be better, but it's really freaking awesome for me.
That's why I'm like, this is
it deserves to be there, but it's also like the
PS5
multiplayer experience is kind of rough.
The other ones are Diablo 4, LOL. Everybody forgot about Diablo 4 when
that's right. Diablo 4
out.
Also came out.
Yep. And then we have Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Mario Wonder. I would love Party Animals to win this one. I feel like it has the most. I got real hooked on Party Animals for like a good couple weeks there. And then best. Oh, well, I guess that's kind of it. I guess this is a good transition into the rest of the categories then, because we have. After this, I'm not going to even bother because it's all esports categories, but we have Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario movie, and Twisted Metal for best adaptation.
Okay.
I think Last of Us is going to get that one.
Probably.
I feel like that's obvious.
I feel like that.
I low key love
could be cool.
Twisted Metal. I
definitely not Twisted Metal.
That actually wasn't that
Mario.
bad.
Mario did really well.
I would say this fight is between Mario and Last of Us.
Yeah.
Even though
Last of Us sounds right.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, and I guess maybe one more real quick. We have Final Fantasy, or this is most anticipated game. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. My personal favorite is Tekken 8 on here, but I know Hades 2 is easily the most anticipated game on this list. So, that's it. That's for all the categories that matter anyway. The rest of them are all esports stuff, which I'm sure that matters to other people, but I think for the sake of...
For the sake of time.
For the sake of time and what we got here, I think we hit everything else that we need to, that we wanted to talk about. So, We can move on.
We're almost at the hour mark.
Oh, we are. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I did not realize that.
We just got
Try to
big
keep
ones
going
today.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't talk a lot about NCMS.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any movies or shows, guys, so...
Okay, well, there you go.
I watched Ghostbusters. I watched
go
Ghostbusters
ahead.
Afterlife, and it was really good.
Oh,
That's
sweet.
how.
Nice.
That's how you do.
There's another one coming out.
Yes, and so
There's a trailer I forgot to put in the news, but yeah, there's a trailer for Ghostbusters.
My buddy who watched it with his kids around Halloween, and one of my coworkers both mentioned it to me. So I was like, you know what? I just gotta watch this. I've been wanting to watch it. That is how you do a sequel, right? I think, or at least like one of the nostalgia cool sequel things we have. I feel like that was very well crafted, very well done. A lot of respect paid to Harold Ramis, which was one of the actors that has passed on over the original Ghostbusters. Super good movie. I think you can operate, like, if you've never seen a Ghostbusters movie, most people I feel like know who the Ghostbusters are, right? Like, so I feel like you can honestly watch that movie and just know about the Ghostbusters and who they are, and actually go into that movie and watch it and enjoy it. So, yeah, that's all I'll say for the sake of time.
So I did get to watch Marvels as well.
Oh, nice.
And don't listen to the hate. It's fun. It is
Yeah.
so stupid,
So
but
stupid.
it's really dumb.
First brother
There's-
Quantumania.
okay. Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's
Awesome. I'll take it.
there's like they're doing a science thing that like literally makes no sense, isn't like kind of broken, but is just like literally out of a
What were we
cartoon.
talking? Yeah, we were talking about like what the comic book science when when Shelley was talking about Spider-Man a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
That's
it's
exactly-
ridiculous.
I hate it so
Like-
much. But it's like,
So if you can get past that, like the movie's goofy,
That's
and that's
fair.
the whole thing. Like it's real silly. It's more of a sequel to Miss Marvel, the TV show, which I highly recommend you watch that show before watching this movie.
Gotcha.
Than it is a Captain Marvel sequel.
I
It's
hear-
kind of a Captain Marvel
I
sequel.
hear Captain Marvel is a much better character this time around too.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. There are some cool Christian values in there that I really appreciated.
No, turn that into a Bible study, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. It writes itself. It would be... Yeah, we're thinking about it. We'll figure out how we can do that, because it would be so simple. Don't want to give anything away, but it's a really fun, dumb movie. It is not dumb in the, like, Thor, Love and Thunder,
Oof.
but it's
Oof.
dumb like original Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe,
I like that.
in a lot of ways.
You see.
Like-
Yes.
Yeah, it's just silly. I don't know.
Cool. I like silly. I like fun. I don't know. But I haven't
When you
watched
see
Miss
the
Marvel.
science that I mean, what they're doing, it's like it literally doesn't.
I'd
make
say
any
Miss
sense.
Marvel
You're like,
is definitely a fun show. I think Miss Marvel fits with that description too.
Mhm.
Like, it's not super amazing
Yeah.
or anything like super great, but it's fun.
Yeah,
Like,
and she's awesome.
Yes.
The actress that plays Miss Marvel is so fun. Definitely steals the show in a lot of ways too. But I don't listen to hate. People are giving it hate. It's dying at the box office. Well, of course it's dying at the box office. It's a sequel from a show that nobody watched and a movie that nobody liked. So it's not going to do well. I'm surprised that they even went for it, but it's it's neat. It's cool. Worth watching. No end credit scene, but there is a mid credit scene.
Interesting.
And mid credit scene is online already, so watch the movie soon.
Ha! Love it. I
It's a
love the
doozy.
internet. So great.
Yeah. That's all I'll say there. It's
Thanks.
just, it's good. But I think we needed it. We needed something after Guardians 3 that was so amazing. This just felt like a fun movie to go watch,
Nice.
which is nice. Yeah, we can get into the movie news from there. Trying to move quickly.
No, for sure. And the thing is, we do got some pretty big news, so we could just share our thoughts. In fact, actually, you might have already heard, everyone's probably already heard at this point, that the SAG-AFTRA strike is now over. Actors are going back to work. And they really got a good deal as far as we could tell. They're really happy with the outcome. They're getting money. You know, that's the biggest thing, is actors are getting money again. Which
Yeah,
is
the
important.
unions have been playing hardball, which is nice. Like, I've been following a lot of creators on TikTok that have really been like talking about it, and like giving good information on it, and so I'm stoked like that. It seems to be a good one. So
things are looking really positive, and again, we were one or two episodes ago. We were already saying like, oh well, who knows? It might last until the end of the year. They're prepared to last until the end of the year, and selfishly, I'm pretty happy that stuff like Stranger Things is going to start, probably rolling up again, and all our.
Can we still get Spider-Man? Can we still get Spider-Verse in March?
Can we get Spider-Verse in March, please?
Give us back the original release date.
Please.
Give me Spider-Verse as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, I am.
I want it to be good.
Interested to see if we're gonna get.
It was supposed to come out in March. That's all I'm saying. Y'all could still do it.
Yeah, if we're gonna see all those delays culminate into 1 year of just so many releases, I mean, there's always things releasing, so maybe not. But the one thing though is that at least I follow a lot of voice actors on Twitter, from anime, from video games, things like that, and apparently this agreement doesn't really have great AI protections. Because that was a huge part of the conversation too.
That was a big part of it, yeah.
It started with the strike thing, both with the writers and actors. It's like, hey, are we going to be able to protect our jobs from AI? Are you going to make it so AI is not being like a factor, and et cetera, et cetera. And from what I'm gathering, a lot of like live action actors especially are very comfortable with this agreement, but a lot of voice actors aren't that comfortable with this agreement because of the AI protections. Or lack thereof, I guess is what I should say. Is I haven't been able to look in depth, but I've been seeing a lot. Basically, when this strike was over, a lot of people were celebrating. Tons of people were celebrating, just like looking on Twitter. And then, come some days later, you get a lot of these voice actors actually reading through the agreement and actually saying, "Hold on a second, this is not good because I can still lose my job because if an AI takes my voice and they plaster it on a cartoon or plaster it somewhere, then I don't have a job anymore." And there's probably more nuance to that. There's probably more stuff going on. I just know that it's becoming a bit of a thing, and it's kind of, I don't know, it can be frustrating when you have like this one whole sect of Hollywood actors or just actors in general that are really celebrating this, and this is like what they need, but then you have this much smaller, already kind of looked over voice actors. They're already kind of a niche. They're already kind of, people don't really see them as actors. But they're really super important, right? And they're the ones who are saying, hey, I don't know about this, guys, but are they going to get steamrolled? Are they going to get forgotten about? Is something actually going to happen? Who knows? But overall, it's dumb. Overall, for sure. Overall, it's better than what it was before, by and large. But AI is still questionable, and it has been, unfortunately, probably is always going to be.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, for sure.
So, not much more to say about that. I am just interested to see if that evolves at all. If other people are going to start waking up to, is this AI stuff going to be a problem? I hope it's not actually a problem.
Voice actors should unionize. They really should.
I think they really need their own union. I'm going to be honest. I think they need their own little thing to protect them, because people just don't treat them well. But besides that, we also have another huge movie announcement from Nintendo. They are doing a live-action Zelda movie, which feels very predictable. Like, it seems like that was kind of the next step, right? They got Mario movie. That was animated. Super duper popular.
I wish this wasn't live-action.
This would be animated.
I kind of hoped it would, too. And obviously not by, like, Illumination or anything. I don't
this
think
is even, like, the worst-case scenario, I think, for...
Would have been nice, but no, cool. They're going with the live action, and I have no idea. We have no other details on like when it's coming out.
Only
obviously no actors that we know of yet. We don't know if it's going to be off of. I guess it was somewhat similar question when the Mario movie was coming out. I was like, oh, is this going to be just a story about one of the games, like adapted, or is it going to be like an original thing? Is it going to be a mix? I think it'd be really cool if they just adapted an actual game.
Hold up.
Like, most of the time I'm always like, oh, just do something original, which honestly they might do, and that's also going to be fine. Something that's super in the spirit of Zelda, something that totally fits in to that sort of, like, canon, timeline, whatever. Or maybe it just won't be canon, that's also fine. But, he's gone.
Bye.
Well, he froze, so I think he lost something.
Oh, dang. I'm so tired. I gotta put a note in there. I want to make a joke about
What is
them
it
releasing
doing?
the trailer on IGN 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hold on.
They're probably also gonna release a trailer. It's probably gonna look fan-made.
Whoa. Okay.
I just feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You good, LJ?
Yeah, my internet had a hiccup, but it seems to be back.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Audacity still recording?
Yes, I didn't stop recording.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Nice.
Okay.
I was like,
I'll try
what's
to
happening?
finish where my thought was. Yeah, it would be cool if they made a game adaptation, because I think there's some games that actually would go well. Like, honestly, like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time,
I
for
think
sure.
some of those they can. And again,
Well, IGN made a trailer, for it 10 years ago.
See, what's
Starring a Michael Jackson
what's
lookalike.
scaring people is that they're partnering with Sony and Avi Arad, who is responsible for Venom and like the other stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
is
and
also what worries me.
We said this about Illumination and Mario and Universal and stuff too. That
And
somehow worked.
Totally true. And that
That
totally
some
worked.
Well,
That
Venom,
somehow
maybe we make a
worked.
Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess could be fun.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say
Oh.
Twilight Princess. They have an awesome manga for that, right? And they did make. Here's the thing, and we're gonna talk about this a lot because we're gonna be talking about Avatar a little bit later too. There's a trailer for that. So with these adaptations, you do have to make changes, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I haven't watched like the Last of Us show, but they made changes, right?
and
They
it
don't
still
just
ended
have
up
you
really
like
good.
hunting around and crawling around,
Right.
gathering resources and crafting things, because that's not fun to watch on a show, right? But it just reminds me of the Twilight Princess manga where they did make really good adaptations. Link Talks, for example, right? I've already had people I've been talking with say like, oh, well, they're gonna need to find someone who, like, if they make Link Talks, that's gonna be really bad. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think there is something to be said where it still has to be within his character, right? And then have like the manga, the Twilight Princess manga, where it's all very totally lines up with his character.
I'm just saying
He's not necessarily talkative, but when he does talk, it very much lines up with his character. And I think that's something they could do with this. I also wonder if it's going to be more serious, more silly, somewhere in the middle, because Zelda can be kind of either way. It's not that silly. It's not nearly as silly as Mario.
They should take notes from another movie that came out a long time ago. One of my favorites, Legend. Ganondorf needs to be as intimidating as Tim Curry is in this. Tim Curry,
Yeah.
they did his makeup all crazy and turned him into this big red devil bad guy who's straight up.
Heck yeah.
It's literally Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. It's literally a Zelda movie, but not.
Right.
And I'm like,
I was like, how do you make a giant pig live action scary?
or just make Ganondorf. I mean,
or make the CGI not bad. Yes.
It's
Well,
this is all.
but again,
This is all practical effects right here. This dude, Tim Curry, was straight up makeup and a suit. Like,
I think you can make some really good makeup on a dude and make him look really good as Ganondorf.
but I'm
I
just
think
like,
it's
hey,
possible.
there's a movie that Nintendo can take notes from because
Totally.
it just so works. Like, that's why I love that movie, because it's like low key a Zelda movie, but it's not. Like,
Heck yeah. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of adaptation, right? And again, we'll talk a little bit more about Avatar. I'll be mentioning some of my thoughts there too, but there needs to be some sort of transition from the video game medium to live action medium, and it needs to be significant, it needs to be good, but it still needs to be respectful. It's a really hard balance to find, and I definitely am not one to say what's the best balance or what's the best decision making there, but I just hope it's good. I hope it's fun, and it doesn't have to be like super dark or anything, but probably not too silly either. I also, if they are going to go the direction of like just adapting a story that's already been done in one of the games, like, it's not going to be Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. That's the craziest part, is that you're going to have Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are definitely the most popular Zelda games at the moment. They're huge. A lot of people's first Zelda games were one of those games, or both, or whatever, right?
Yep.
But most of Zelda franchise is just not that, right? It's so
Right,
different.
right.
So I guess I'm just excited to see, maybe not excited is a little bit pushing it. I'm intrigued and interested to see like a future trailer, a future way where it's like, are they going to get those themes across? Are they going to get those characters across?
there's a lot more routes they could go than Mario. Like, I think Mario is pretty cut and dry, but with Zelda, you have so many options.
I agree. There's a
And
lot
you could
of things to pull
even
from.
mix them all into your own thing, and we can
Mhm.
splinter the timeline again. I mean,
For
shoot,
sure,
I
they
don't
can
know.
create their own spin-off, or not spin-off, but just own original story or something too. It's just as long as it has the heart and themes. Like, that's the thing for me. Zelda games are consistent by their themes. It's kind of like Final Fantasy. It's not necessarily by their playstyle. It's by their themes. It's by sort of the lore that kind of keeps everything together. So as long as they have that, it could be good.
Yeah.
But then obviously, like, again, Mario, they had way more freedom where they could just kind of do whatever the heck they wanted to. And there's so many Mario franchises that they just threw them all into one big thing. Except for Mario Party. Maybe if they make another Mario movie, they'll throw more Mario Party stuff in there. You could just make it Mario Party the movie. That'd be kind of funny. But anyway, all that being said, we just need more information.
Yes.
We need more information. That's our movie news.
We will get into TV then. I have finished Loki, and
Nice.
Is it good? It's worth
the payoff. Yes,
Good.
Really?
so good.
Finally!
I
How
had
many
somebody tell
times
me I need to.
have we just Disney shows I already haven't watched?
Yeah,
Don't watch until the finale comes out, and then people say, "Oh, the finale,
yeah.
it sucks, not worth it." Finally,
no,
we have one
this
that's worth it.
award-winning acting,
Thank goodness.
and from multiple actors, and like the episode before it, they do the thing that Disney loves to do. The penultimate episode was like meh. It wasn't very good. I was not interested in it, and so I was like, they're gonna do another like rushed ending that's not gonna make any sense, and that's not what this was. It was a I don't want to give too much away. The arc that Loki has gone through from the like Thor 1 to now is just insane.
Loki is definitely a character I did not understand all the hype for. I was just like, whatever. Like, y'all just.
Y'all are
you
just
know,
you just like Tom Hiddleston,
They're just
which is fair,
yeah, they're
but-
just everybody's just simping for the most part, you know, like
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Like,
That's episode 2 of the season, by the way.
yeah, no, but like especially around like Ragnarok, I was like, okay, he's actually turning into a character I really like, and then like even in season 1, I'm like, wow, okay, I've never expected to even feel for this character. Like they've really went a long way with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole season is in full is kind of long and drawn out, and you'll be kind of like, I guess, but once you get to that final episode, it's something where like they did take a long time to get there, and it feels like maybe it was more time than they needed, but they hadn't taken that time. I don't think that the emotions they're trying to derive from you would have been there without it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, highly recommend. The best, including season 1. This season 2 is the best Disney Plus show that they've
Good.
done so far,
Woo!
beating out season 1 by a lot.
Wow,
Wait, best Disney Plus.
Show
that's a bold statement, Cotton.
by far.
That is very bold.
Wow.
Yes.
Woo,
Better than
dang.
Andor. Better than Andor.
Better than Andor.
Are you considering season 1 and 2 as a conglomerate, or just season 2?
Just season 2.
Gotcha. Okay. I
Wow.
guess I'll maybe
Yeah.
watch it. Huh.
Jeez.
That
Okay.
is cool.
That
Maybe
is
this
a
is my
gl-
ticket back into Marvel. I don't care
that
about
is
Marvel.
that is a
anymore. Like,
glowing endorsement.
Well, I don't think it'll ticket you super far into Marvel itself, but
I did like season 1.
If
Yeah,
it makes me
this is very
if it makes
much
me
Loki's
care
story.
again, like I don't know, like I don't know.
I don't think it'll do all that.
I'm in a place
If
where
it's
I
good in
don't
itself,
know.
I'll take that.
I don't know if I
Yes,
can
it's
trust Marvel right now. Like
relatively
I'm still
self-contained.
I'm still
Good.
gonna watch
Self-contained,
everything.
I'll take that.
but-
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would love to know your guys' thoughts. See if you guys share the same thoughts. 'Cause I
Here's my
obviously
question.
am very invested in Marvel.
Here's my question: does it set up for season 3? Do
I
you
don't want to
think?
give anything away.
It probably does.
I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. You can. It's okay.
I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay, sure. Good call.
Yeah. Yeah. Go watch it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Watch season 1. You'll have to watch season 1 to watch season 2, but
Season 1 was really good.
it's worth it. Not as good as season 2.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Like, thank goodness for
Yeah.
once to show that the season 2 is just better than season
It's
1.
weird because it's self-contained. The story is much more personal,
I like that.
and like they never that I know of go to space or to another planet
Hmm.
in this season, and I thought that was weird because that was like the whole thing with season 1 was they're going like everywhere in space and time.
Right.
To keep it within TVA stuff is pretty wild. If they, that's crazy.
They don't move to a whole lot of different locations.
Oh man, I have a story. I have a story I'm going to tell y'all after the podcast because it's funny.
Solid.
It's low key related, but
cool.
I almost forgot.
That's my review of Loki.
Nice.
Hopefully I haven't overhyped it, but man. Oh, and LJ, you just reminded me, Invincible. I've seen the first episode of Invincible season.
The second episode is out too.
I'll have to check that out.
It came out on Friday. Ooh, it's so good.
Yeah, it started off and I was so confused.
Yes,
man, it's
they
good.
they throw you a curveball there, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
like it's
solid.
Yeah.
Also hilarious that it's just. I mean, so is The Boys, but it's like commentary on other superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And so they're introducing things that are just current in the rest of the like DC and Marvel worlds.
The Adam Eve special is really good too. If you haven't watched that, that's like Adam Eve.
I don't think I ever saw that.
I think they put it out a few months ago, but it's like a mini episode. It's like a mini episode of her origin story. It's pretty good.
Nice.
So.
But yeah, Invincible. LJ, you have anything more to add on that? And then what else are you watching?
Invincible. It's good. It's more Invincible.
Wild.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's gonna it's one of those things where I know season 1 got crazy, but I feel like it's just gonna get even crazier, and I don't know how else to say that. Like, there's so much that can happen. Like, that just can mess up more stuff. Like, it's just, I feel like it's gonna end up in a lot more chaos. So. And it's good. The other thing I watched, I haven't watched a ton more of it, but I talked about it last week, was the show Blue Eye Samurai. Mm-hmm. It's animated, like 2D kind of style animation. It got me to play Ghost of Tsushima again, which was like to scratch that itch. I found out it's from, I don't know if I remember mentioning this last week, but it's from the writer of Logan and Blade Runner 2049. He and his wife wrote and it's not based on any particular character like in feudal Japan or something. It's just a revenge story. It's on Netflix, again, about this girl who was born of mixed race who wants to seek revenge, kind of a thing. She wears these cool glasses that like hide her blue eyes and stuff, and
that's pretty sick.
And the way women are treated in feudal Japan is like not good, so she like hides, she hides it well, but it also makes her like she's feared because everybody thinks she's this legendary male samurai, and it's like she's absolutely not, but she's awesome. It's cool. It's a good show. So yeah,
cool. We'll get into the TV news then. Couple things, both Netflix. We've got a teaser for Dragon Prince season 6. It's mostly just Claudia being more Claudia.
Yeah.
It's sad. I don't know.
We should have saved another 20 minutes for y'all to rant about this, because I know y'all
Sorry.
It's just
no, you're good. I think the trailer was supposed to be scary, but it was just sad.
Yeah.
That's all I got from.
It's crazy that it does a really good job making me interested in the show again, but giving some, it's honestly a really short teaser, but it tells us a lot just in this short teaser. Gives us a lot of information, and if it's insinuating what I think it's insinuating, if it's doing what I think it's doing, I'm worried that's just going to reveal the last 2 seasons of being mostly filler, which is what they felt like. Last 2 seasons I've not enjoyed.
That's why I haven't been in a hurry either, is because there's just the
and
things y'all had to say about the previous seasons.
They're just not very good in my opinion. Season 5 was slightly better than Season 4. It was definitely was an improvement, but it wasn't like so much of an improvement that it makes me go, oh yeah, the show's it's gonna be awesome. But Season 6, I don't know, maybe they just go work on a 3-season stride. The first 2 seasons were really good, but like Season 3 definitely was the best, I think. And then maybe they just need another 3-season arc or something. But I'm a little bit concerned, again, that if it is good, which I hope it is good, obviously. Like, I'll watch it. I hope it's good. But if it just reveals these last 2 seasons as being mostly filler, like I think it potentially will. Like, there's just a lot of things in those seasons that just feel completely unnecessary. And maybe a lot of those could have just been, like, some of these side stories, some of the development did not need to take the entire season. I won't necessarily explicitly explain what I'm thinking of, but if you've watched the show, you probably know kind of what I'm talking about. probably all of it could have been condensed to like a single season, in my opinion. Just probably the last 2 seasons could have been 1 season. And there's still a lot of things that they need to wrap up. There's a lot of things that were left unresolved in season 3 that I have this bad feeling that they're only going to resolve it now in season 6, whereas it's like, okay, well, what were the last 2 seasons for if this could have been almost pseudo season 4 in itself? Like, we'll have to see... I like
the contrast you made to Korra.
Exactly, yeah. So, because it's like, with Korra, they had trouble because they didn't know how many seasons they were going to get. So every season they had to sort of wrap it up in a weird, kind of messy way. And then the next season would start with this new problem, right? Because they just didn't know which season was going to be their last. And I feel like they're having the opposite problem with Dragon Prince, where they didn't have all that much planned, but all of a sudden they've been cleared for like 7 seasons or something. I think it's 7 or 8 seasons that they were cleared for. And they still don't have a ton of ideas, so now they're just throwing in filler and throwing in conflicts that don't matter, that aren't fun to watch, that aren't interesting, that don't seem to actually... You know, you would think that they would at least do some world building, or they'd at least do some character development stuff, but they kind of, like, don't even do that. And then there's some aspects where you're like, oh, I wish we'd kind of dive even a little bit more deeper into this. Like, just the way that they're siphoning out their time with these seasons doesn't feel very good to me. Again, last 2 seasons I feel like could have been squashed into one big season, or just regular season, cut out the filler. There were just scenes in there that were just completely unnecessary. But again, we'll see what season 6 looks like. I hope it's an improvement, both from a writing perspective and unfortunately, from an animation perspective. There are definitely some animation issues the last couple seasons that I've had, which is too bad, but I'll watch it.
Maybe it'll be like Loki, and everything will pay off.
I hope so. It's just gonna be disappointing because
there's nothing set up to pay off really in the last 2 seasons.
Exactly, right? There's not much. The stuff they're gonna pay off started in like season 3, right? Some of the stuff that has been happening was just they could have just done it at the end of season 3 or after season 3, whatever. But maybe they'll throw another graphic novel in there to explain more stuff and more conflicts that we don't know. Whatever. Anyway, there's that.
The other show to rant about is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Got the live action. And
got a trailer.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the movie M. Night Shyamalan made.
Especially in like the shots of like, you know, Katara and stuff when she's like in the snow parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that looks, I'm like, that's the part that made me go, huh? Like, when you talk about the movie. But everything else, I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right, I'll check it out.
It looks all right. Like, the CGI, so they have the volcano, right? And it's this crescent volcano. It's straight out of the show, and that's awesome. But, like, they didn't do it well because it's hard to do that. Like, that would take a ton of time to make that look like a real island. And so it's almost like they did this thing where they're almost too true to the source material.
Yeah.
That you get this kind of like weird surrealism going on.
I agree
with it.
That's definitely what One Piece does. Like, but like One Piece is like it's fun, you know, like
Uncanny Valley, I guess.
Yes, it's like it's fun at the very least, kind of a thing, and I'm hoping that's what this does. Like,
yeah,
I hope this is for like I don't think this kind of stuff is necessarily for us, even though yes, it kind of is. But like this is the kind of stuff that like I could get my mom and my, or like at the very least my stepdad, be like, oh, that looks like a cool action show or action movie or something. Like, I'll check it out. You know, like a buddy of mine who doesn't watch anime, he's like, oh, I watched One Piece. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Like, I'm like, okay. So I'm hoping like we get that same feeling with Avatar. Like, I hope it's faithful.
Yeah. I was out as soon as the writers got out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The writers said that it wasn't their show anymore. I was like, I'm good.
I guess I expected something different, like widely different too, and like from what
that too. It does look really close to source material, which surprised me.
We're gonna have to see. Like, we haven't seen the important stuff yet. Like I saw on TikTok, somebody said we need to see the bending and we need to see conversations and dialogue happening.
Yeah, like Aang hasn't spoken at all. We need Sokka to be Sokka. That'll be
chemistry.
Super.
That's what holds that show together so well. Is the chemistry between all the characters is insane. But I think you guys brought up an important point too, where it's looking almost too faithful, and that's why I want to bring in that conversation again of the adaptation. Like you need to actually adapt. And
Yes.
I have the opinion that Avatar: The Last Airbender, as a world concept, does not lend at all well to live action. I personally think there's not even going to be a way to create a live action that is going to reflect it well, unless you maybe did like a super futuristic, like past the time of Korra, couple generations where things are really like even more steampunky, or like you get actual technology and then you do like a live action and it's like, oh, it takes place in the world and there's still some bending, but like the world is different, you know, entirely different spin-off. I feel like that could lend well to live action, but I think generally speaking it just doesn't. But you still have to adapt something, and right now it's hard to tell like what the decisions they're going to make, what things you're going to do. Obviously, like the outfits, on one hand I have to really applaud because they are very, you know, loyal. The
Kyoshi's look good.
Yes,
Kyoshi looks great.
Yes.
Or not Kyoshi, but Suki. Yeah, the Kyoshi warriors.
The sisters.
They look great.
Warriors,
but it's just like, I don't know. I was even talking to my sister today. She doesn't watch a lot of shows, but she did grow up watching Avatar with me. And I said, hey, did you see the new trailer for the Avatar show, like live action show? And she said, again? That didn't work the first time. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It didn't work the first time.
Yeah.
Just, like,
she's spot on.
Now, but it's true. Like, we're all kind of burned by that movie, I think. And obviously,
even the more casual fans are burned.
That's what I mean. It's like, there's a level of... So there's so many people who have casually watched this show, and are they gonna need to have a live action remake? You know, that's it's wild. Just kind of. I'm waiting.
Give me a crazy spinoff.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the moment in which it's realizing that the show is relevant and needed. I have not yet faced the this show is relevant and needed sort of aspect. So far, it seems completely unnecessary. Maybe the show will start. And it'll be really, really good, and everyone will love it, and I'll be proven wrong. But as of right now, I'm like, we don't need this. Simply put, you could just watch the original. Sorry. So, again, I have
four benders, and they're like murderers, and it's like a horror movie.
I'll say what I said with Zelda.
Make it live action.
I'm hopeful.
Rated MA.
Like with One Piece, I'm hopeful that it's at least decent, you know, that it's at least enjoyable.
I'm sure it'll be decent. I'm sure it'll be better than M. Night Shyamalan's. Like, anything's better than M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't think, started from the bottom. You have to, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's a pretty low bar, actually.
Yeah. It's a really
low bar. This podcast is going along a little long, but a tangent that we went on before the podcast that I thought was worth mentioning was the idea of let's start taking live actions and making them anime. We didn't talk about John Wick is doing that soon.
Yeah.
But give me more of that. That sounds so cool.
Honestly, I think Terminator is also getting one, and the last good thing that came out of Terminator was Terminator 2. So, like, I'm hoping that makes a better, like, animated adaptation, too.
The Witcher did an animated thing, and it was good.
Yeah. They have another one coming out, too, I think. Another Witcher animated thing.
Yeah, and it makes me think of it makes me think of Star Wars Visions. And I think Star Wars Visions is a perfect example of, like, you have the live-action Star Wars that's really awesome on its own. I mean, obviously, it's the original. It's really freaking good. But then you also have, like, Visions. And obviously, there's the cartoons. I personally haven't watched Clone Wars Rebels, so I can't speak on that. But I can speak on Visions and how those creators were able to create such amazing art of such fantastical things with such, you know, crazy colors and concepts that definitely would be really hard to do in live action, but still lends well to the Star Wars canon and universe. I think that's like a perfect example of like, here's what you could do with animation. Here's what you could do with live action. They're different, and they have that same sort of, like, it's still the same universe. You know, there's still Jedi and the Force and the Empire, stuff like that. But the way things are presented, you know, it lends itself well for its medium, and that's important. So, yep.
Sweet. We will end the podcast there. You guys geeking out about anything else this week?
Nope.
All right. Then, Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at LJ the Paladin.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.
It's on!